Our country has diverse and enormous places, palaces, or monuments, bordered by 7 different countries, not to mention the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. It shows that there are many different sides to the country. To truly experience the breadth of Indian history and culture, one should have some knowledge about the places, palaces, or monuments. In all the competitive examinations, questions are asked about this. Here's Namaskar, I am Tanmoy De and welcome to Sanchoita. I hope you all are doing good and learning from my videos. So, without further delay, let's start. Okay. Number 1, Gateway of India. It is located in Mumbai, Maharashtra. The foundation stone laid in March 1913 and the construction completed in 1924. It was erected to commemorate the landing in 1911 at Apollo Bandar, Mumbai, then Bombay, of King Emperor George V and the Queen Empress Mary. This 85 feet or 26 meter structure is a triumphal arch made of basalt. The gateway is also the monument from where the last British troops left India in 1948, and it has been called a symbol of conquest and colonization. Okay. The next one, India Gate. India Gate was established on 10th February 1921 but unveiled on 12 February 1931. It is formerly known as the All India War Memorial. It is located astride the Rajpath on the eastern edge of the ceremonial axis of New Delhi. It is designed by Sir Edwin Lutyens. It is a memorial to 70,000 soldiers of the British Indian Army who died between 1914 and 1921 and the Third Anglo-Afghan War. Here you can find some inscription on the gate of 13,300 servicemen's names, including some soldiers and officers from the UK. Here you will find Amar Jawan Jyoti, or the flame of the immortal soldier, a black marble plinth with a reversed rifle capped by a war helmet and bounded by 4 eternal flames, was built beneath the archway to commemorate Indian soldiers martyred in the war of the liberation of Bangladesh in 1971, and it was inaugurated by the then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi on 26 January 1972. Okay. The next one is Buland Darwaza. Which was built in 1602 by Mughal Emperor Akbar to commemorate his victory over Gujarat. It is also called Door of Victory. It is the main entrance to the Jama Masjid at Fatehpur Sikri, Agra. It is the highest gateway in the world. The height of this darwaza is from the ground level about 54 meters. Also, there is another memorial gate called the Buland Darwaza at the Dargah Sharif in Ajmer, Rajasthan. Okay, now Fatehpur Sikri. A town in the Agra district of Uttar Pradesh. From 1571 to 1585, it was the capital of the Mughal Emperor founded by Akbar in 1571. After Akbar's victory over Gujarat in 1573, the city came to be known as Fatehpur Sikri, the city of victory. Delhi Gate, the Lal Gate, the Agra Gate and Birbal's Gate, Chandanpal Gate, the Gwalior Gate, the Tehra Gate, the Chor Gate and the Ajmeri Gate are the access point of this city along the 8-kilometer long fort wall. The palaces contain summer palace and winter palace for Queen Jodha. Some important buildings in this city are Buland Darwaza, Jama Masjid, Tomb of Salim Chishti, Diwan-e-Am, Diwan-e-Khas, Ibadat Khana, Anup Talav, Haujra-e Talav, Naubat Khana, Pach Mahal, Birbal's house, Hiran Minar, etc. Okay, next one is Pach Mahal. It is a palace in Fatehpur Sikri, Agra, Uttar Pradesh. The pool in the front of the Pach Mahal is called the Anup Talav. It was commissioned by Akbar and it means 5-level palace. It was used for entertainment and relaxation and it stands close to the Janana quarters. Okay, the next one is very important, Konark Sun Temple. And it was built in the 13th century. The Konark Temple was conceived as a gigantic chariot of the sun god with 12 pairs of exquisitely ornamented wheels pulled by 7 horses. It was also known as Black Pagoda. The great ruler of the Ganga dynasty, King Narasimha Deva I, was built this. In 1984, the temple is included in the UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Konark is the third link of Odisha's Golden Triangle. The first one is Puri, the second one is Bhubaneswar, the capital city of Odisha. The famous Chandrabhaga Mela held here every year in February. Okay, next one is Dilwara Temple. And it is located at Mount Abu, Rajasthan. It is a group of Satamvara Jain temples. The famous 5 temples of this place are: the first one is Vimal Vasai Temple, which was dedicated to Sri Adinath, the first Jain Tirthankar. The second one is Lunavasi, which was dedicated to Sri Neminath 22nd Jain Tirthankar. The third one is Pittalhar, which was dedicated to Sri Adinath, the first Jain Tirthankar. The fourth one is Parsvanath, which was dedicated to Sri Parsvanath, 23rd Jain Tirthankar. And the last one is Mahavir Swami, which was dedicated to Sri Mahavir Swami, the last Jain Tirthankar. These temples were built under the patronage of Solanki rulers in the 11th to 16th century in the style of Maru Gujra architecture. For its mastery over architecture, Dilwara temple is sometimes regarded as one of the most stunning pilgrimage sites of Jains. In 1459, Parsvanath temple was built by Mandalik. This is dedicated to Lord Parsvanath, the 23rd Jain Tirthankar. This has the tallest shrine at Dilwara. From the picture, you all know about this temple. Yes, you are right. It is Golden Temple. Located at Amritsar, Punjab, it is also known as Sri Harminder Sahib and Sri Darbar Sahib. The construction was started in 1588 and completed in 1601. The fifth Sikh Guru, Guru Arjan Dev, gave the idea of construction. The land for the temple was bought from the Jamindars by Guru Ramdas. Hazrat Mian Mirji, a Muslim saint, laid the foundation of the temple and the construction was supervised by Guru Arjan Dev. This Gurudwara is surrounded by a sacred pool called Sarovar and a group of buildings important to the Sikh religion. In the early 19th century, Maharaja Ranjit Singh founded the Sikh Empire and covered the upper floors of the Gurudwara with gold. For this, it is called the Golden Temple. Okay, the next one, most frequently asked palace is Hawa Mahal. It is a signature building at Jaipur, the pink city of Rajasthan. It was built in 1799 by Maharaja Savai Pratap Singh, who was the founder of Jaipur. Maharaja Savai was the grandson of Savai Jai Singh and son of Savai Madho Singh. It was designed by Lal Chand Ustad. Okay, the next one is a very important place, Golconda. And the fort is called Golconda Fort, which is also known as Golconda, the Shepherd's Hill. Previously, it was called as Mankal. This fort is located in Hyderabad, Telangana, and built in 1143. It was built by the Kakatiyas as part of their western defences along the lines of the Kondapalli Fort. This place flourished as a trade center of large diamonds. These diamonds are known as the Golconda diamonds, and the name of the mines is Kollur Mines. This region has produced some of the world's most famous diamonds, which included the colorless Kohinoor, the blue Hope, the pink Darai Noor, the white Regent, the Dresden green, and the colorless Orlov, Nizam, and Jacob. Okay, next one is a tree, and it is Bodhi tree or Bodhi fig tree. It is also called the Bo tree. It is a large and ancient sacred fig tree. The scientific name is Ficus religio. This tree located in Bodh Gaya, Bihar. Around 500 BC, the Buddha Siddhartha Gautama is said to have attained enlightenment or Bodhi under this tree. It is the most important of the four main Buddhist pilgrimage sites. Some other Bodhi trees are the Ananda Bodhi tree at Jetavana in Saravasti and the Sri Mahabodhi tree in Anuradhapura, Sri Lanka. Okay, you know that this is Qutub Minar. In 1199, Qutubuddin Aibak laid the foundation, and Aibak's successor and son-in-law Iltutmish added 3 stories to the tower in 1220. It is known as the tallest brick minaret in the world and the highest tower in India with a height of 72.5 meters. Here you will find several historically connected monuments surrounded it. These are the Iron Pillar of Delhi, Quwat-ul-Islam Mosque, Alai Darwaza, the tomb of Iltutmish, Alia Minar, Alauddin's Madrasa, and tomb. Okay, from the picture it is difficult to tell the name of this lake, but I am sure you all have heard about this lake. It is Chilika Lake, filled with brackish water. It is the largest coastal lagoon in India, which has 20% of the country's seagrass distribution. It is spread over the Puri, Khurda and Ganjam districts of Orissa on the east coast of India. The lake is located at the mouth of the Daya river. The endangered Irrawaddy dolphins are found in the lake. One additional point relating to this is the Gulf of Mannar and Palk Bay, which is located in Tamil Nadu, are the largest seagrass bed in the country. Okay, the next one is Dal Lake. Which is located in Srinagar, the summer capital of Jammu and Kashmir, the haven of the earth. It is called Srinagar's jewel. This lake is located in the Jawarwan mountain valley in the foothills of the Shankaracharya hills, which surrounded it on 3 sides. Hazratbal, Bodh Dal, Gagribal and Nagin are the 4 main interconnected basins of this lake. Okay, this one very important tourist place, Ellora Caves. It is located nearly 100 km away from Ajanta Caves in the Sahyadri range, or you can say the Western Ghats in Aurangabad, Maharashtra. Here, a total of 34 caves are there, out of which 17 Brahminical, 12 Buddhist, and 5 Jain. It was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1983. Note down also some important facts about the Western Ghats. The Western Ghats are locally known by different names such as Sahyadri in Maharashtra, Nilgiri Hills in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and Annamalai Hills and Cardamom Hills in Kerala. Anaimuri, which is 2695 meter, the highest peak of the peninsular plateau on the Annamalai Hills. The second highest peak is Dodabetta, which is 2637 meter on the Nilgiri Hills. Krishna and Kaveri have their origin in the Western Ghats. The next one is also very important in the perspective of competitive exams. It is Elephanta Caves. It is located on a small island about 10 km from Apollo Bandar on the Mumbai mainland, adjoining the Gateway of India. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site which was declared in 1987, and it is a collection of cave temples predominantly dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva. This small island had a rich cultural past with evidence of human settlement by possibly the 2nd century BC. It is originally known as Gurapuri, and the island was renamed by Portuguese invaders after a giant stone sculpture of an elephant which was removed from the island, and now it is standing outside the Dr. Bahudaji Lad Museum. Here, the 7-meter high masterpiece Sadasiv dominates the entrance of cave number 1. Okay, the next one is Ajanta Caves. You all heard about this place. It is a series of rock-cut caves in the Sahyadri range, which is the Western Ghats, on Wagra river near Aurangabad in Maharashtra. These caves were developed in the period between 200 BC to 650 AD. Here you will find 29 caves and all of the Buddhist, out of which 25 caves were used as viharas or residential caves, while 4 were used as chaitya or prayer halls. The famous Chinese Buddhist traveler Fa Hun, who came in the reign of Chandragupta II, and Huensung, who came to India in the reign of Harshavardhana, mentioned these caves in their travel accounts. Fresco paintings used in these caves. Okay, the next one is a painting which is called Padmapani. It is in cave number 1 of the Ajanta caves. Padmapani is a Bodhisattva or someone who is on the path of enlightenment or becoming a Buddha. Here you can see that he holds the Padma or the lotus flower, thus being called Padmapani, or the one who holds a lotus in his hand. The Sanskrit word Pani means hand. He is the epitome of compassion and is a popular character in Buddhist iconography. Also, Vajrapani is a Bodhisattva who is known to be the protector. He holds a thunderbolt or the Vajra in his right hand, is thus called Vajrapani, or the one who holds the thunder in his hand. The next one is Gol Gumbaj. It is located in Bijapur, Karnataka. This is the tomb of Muhammad Adil Shah, Sultan of Bijapur. It is one of the biggest domes in India with a diameter of 44 meters. The architecture was Yakut of Dabul and it was completed in 1655. The next one is Hemis Gompa or Hemis Monastery. Hemis Gompa or Hemis Monastery, situated in Hemis village of Leh in Ladakh. Now you know that Ladakh is a union territory. It was founded in 1630 by the first incarnation of Staksan Raspa Nawang Gyatso. A famous annual festival held here is called Hemis Festival. This is a sacred dance festival which takes on the 9th and 10th day of the 5th month of the Tibetan calendar. It is celebrated for Guru Padma Sambhava birth anniversary. Okay, the next one is Humayun's tomb. It is situated in Delhi and it is the tomb of the Mughal Emperor Humayun. The tomb was commissioned by Empress Bega Begum, who is also known as Haji Begum. She was Humayun's first wife and chief consort. It was built in 1569 to 1570. The tomb is the first garden tomb on the Indian subcontinent. In 1993, the tomb was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, this one is a famous temple of Orissa, the Jagannath Temple. Jagannath Temple, a Hindu temple dedicated to the Hindu god Jagannath, who is believed to be a form of Vishnu. This temple is in Puri, Orissa. Three principal deities are Jagannath, Balabhadra and Subhadra. The Jagannath temple in Puri was called the White Pagoda. This temple is a part of Char Dham. These Char Dhams are Badrinath, Dwarka, Puri, Rameswaram. This temple is believed to be constructed in the 12th century by King Anantavarma Chodaganga Deva of the Eastern Ganga dynasty. This temple is called Yamanika Tirth. According to Hindu beliefs, the power of Yama, the god of death, has been nullified in Puri due to the presence of Lord Jagannath. The famous festival of Hindus, Rath Yatra or Chariot Festival, held here every year. The next one is a memorial place which is built after the independence, Vivekananda Rock Memorial. Vivekananda Rock Memorial is a popular tourist monument in Vivathurai, Kanyakumari, Tamil Nadu. In honor of Swami Vivekananda, it was built in 1970. This memorial consists of two main structures, the Vivekananda Mandapam and the Sripada Mandapam. Okay, next one, all of you know very well, Purana Kila. Purana Kila or Old Fort. It was also formerly called Shergarh, and the fort is one of the oldest forts in Delhi. As per B.B. Lal, who was the Director General of Archaeological Survey of India, it was the site of the Pandava kingdom of Indraprastha, estimating 900 BC as the period of the Kurukshetra war. This was built by Shershah Suri on the raised platform. The construction was completed by Islam Shah after he succeeded his father Shershah Suri. The Hindu king Hemchandra Vikramaditya on 7th October 1556 had defeated Akbar's forces decisively at the Battle of Delhi in 1556, and he was crowned in Purana Kila. The next one is Sachi Stupa. Sachi Stupa located at Sarnath near Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. It was commissioned by Emperor Ashok in 250 BC and on the finest examples of Mauryan sculpture. It was commissioned to commemorate the first sermon of the Buddha or the Dharma Chakra Pravartana at Sarnath. The Sachi complex is famous for the Mahastup, also known as Great Stupa. The Ashokian pillar with its inscriptions and its signature ornate torrents the gateways. The lion capital at Sachi is similar to the one at Sarnath. The main difference between the two is that the monument at Sachi depicts an abacus instead of a chakra. However, the influence of the Sachi Stupa on the national psyche goes beyond the lion capital. It inspired the design of several modern buildings. Rashtrapati Bhavan. Okay, this one is a famous university, Nalanda. Nalanda University is revived version of ancient Nalanda University located at Rajgir in Nalanda district of Bihar. It is a non-state, non-profit, secular and self-governing international institution, and its idea was mooted by former President APJ Abdul Kalam in 2006. Singapore, China, Thailand, and Australia have contributed funds. This university functioned by a special act, the Nalanda University Act. Nobel laureate Amartya Sen was appointed the chancellor in 2012. Mahayana monks Asnaga and Basu Bandhu said to have founded Nalanda in 400 to 500 AD. You also note down that Chinese pilgrim Huensang came during Harshav's reign, gave a detailed account of Nalanda University. This university destroyed by Turkish ruler Kutubuddin Aybak's general Bakhtiyar Khilji in 1193 AD. Okay, the next one is a palace, Thirumalai Nayakkar Mahal. Thirumalai Nayakkar Mahal palace is located in the city of Madurai, Tamil Nadu. This palace erected in 1636 AD by King Thirumala Nayaka, a king of the Nayaka dynasty of Madurai. So we are on the threshold of this video, and the next one is Jama Masjid. The Jama Masjid was built in 1656 by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. The Masjid-i Jihan Nama, or Mosque of the Celestial Spheres, are the other names of Jama Masjid, and one of the largest mosques in India. About 15,000 people can pray in the courtyard at a time. After the British victory in the revolt of 1857, they confiscated the mosque and stationed their soldiers there. Okay, the second last one is a fort, Aknor Fort. Aknor Fort, located on the right bank of Chenab River, Asikini is the ancient name of this river, around 28 km away from Jammu. This fort, constructed by Raja Tek Singh in 1762 and completed by his successor Raja Alam Singh in 1802. Okay, the last one of this part is CST Mumbai. CST Mumbai, officially Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus, also known as Victoria Terminus, built in 1887. It was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2004. This station was designed by Frederick William Stevens. It was built to replace Boribandar, the terminus of the Great Indian Peninsula Railway from 1853 to 1888, and was named Victoria Terminus. In the year 1996, the station was renamed Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus in honor of Emperor Chhatrapati Shivaji, founder of the Maratha Empire. In December 2016, again a resolution passed to change the name. In May 2017, it was declared officially as Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus. That's all from us. Thank you very much for watching. I hope my videos are useful to you. Please take care. Bye.